talks. Who in America has not heard of Alligator Alley out there in the Everglades? It's been controversial, I think, ever since the day it first went into effect. A detention center in Florida that's been making headlines really ever since day one. And you may remember you had the president go there. You had, in fact, I think you've had multiple visits from Ron DeSantis, Florida's governor. But now the question this morning is this: is Arizona soon to be getting its own desert version of Alligator Alcatraz? Well, Kristi Noem made an announcement during an interview with CBS, and she says that she is hopeful of launching a handful of jails, detention centers that would be connected to airports in some key locations across the USA. Now, she specifically mentioned Arizona, which gives you an indication that they may be a little further along on this planning process than we might have otherwise thought, and that it would be connected to an airport. So they're looking at Arizona, Nebraska, and Louisiana. Now, we have plenty of airports here across the state of Arizona, but Sky Harbor, I don't know if they'd be able to find any kind of available land at Sky Harbor. Possibly out at the Mesa Gateway Airport, there's a lot more kind of empty land out there. That's at Power Road and the 202. Those are our two big Metro Phoenix area airports. You do have some land out there by the airport in Tucson. Those are the big three. We have a lot of other smaller airports across the state. But then the question is, these aircraft that are flying people who have been set for removal after having been placed in detention primarily for criminal activity and then exited out of Florida, these are large aircraft. I don't think you could do it at one of the smaller airports. So we are really going to be paying attention to see what they're looking at. Arizona, Nebraska, and Louisiana. By the way, Syleste joins us well. And Syleste, I think that I'm just looking around here and looking at some of the comments we're getting from some of our folks, the friendliest chat online. We did this. We reached out to the governor's office about the announcement from Kristi Noem, the head of the Department of Homeland Security. And they did tell us that they had not yet been approached by the government about any kind of a new migrant detention center in Arizona. It'll be controversial if it happens. There's no doubt about that. But we do know that flights are departing from various places around the U.S., primarily here in border states, where these where people are being removed and back to the countries where they originally came from, particularly if they've committed crimes.
You bring up a good point, Ron. Good morning, everyone. You mentioned Mesa Gateway Airport. Wasn't that the airport where they had flown some migrants out of?
Yeah.
And so that makes sense.
Correct. There's an airline there. And I kind of live out in that area. That's in that kind of Eastmark, Queen Creek area. And there's a lot of spare land. Now, they have plans. The city of Mesa, by the way, does actually have a plan to create a whole new terminal. This is like 10 years down the line, maybe more.
Yes.
A brand new, beautiful terminal across the runway from where the current one is. But I think that's many years in the future.
Yeah, you bring up a good point because when you think about something like this, you need land to build something. And the other part of this story, Ron, is I wonder if this, we have a lot of private jails and prisons as well here in Arizona. So if Governor Hobbs has not been reached or the state government, I wonder if that is a part of the process, or can they in fact use a private company to build a jail or a prison or something like that, because the state does contract with private companies to house inmates here in Arizona, and we have plenty of them around the state.
Yeah. It's an excellent point, Syleste, and I think, how do you think it will go down if in fact it happens?
Well,
do you think there'll be protest, or do you think people will accept it? Or, will the protests really kind of ramp up? I mean, we've seen people, for example, go down to, federal office buildings here in the Valley to try to stop it.
I think there, in fact, will be protests. I mean, you remember years back when SB 1070 was, in the works at the state capitol, and we had there was like 1 million people marching through the streets of Phoenix at one point.
Yep.
It was making national headlines. That was, of course, years ago. But I think that we could see a response in Arizona. We are in the southwest part of the country. And a large population is here working.
And this is Fox 10 Talks. It's 5 minutes after, and we have scheduled a report, I think, really one of the most interesting reports we're going to have in quite a while here on our streaming show. We are going to get out to Chelsea Torres. She is in Asheville, North Carolina. Now, you guys watching, you remember that Asheville was hit so hard, and really the whole western half of North Carolina, as a result of some of that flooding from the hurricane. This was many months ago, and then we just saw the heartbreak, Syleste, that came out of that area in Texas. And so we thought we would check in with Chelsea because she's kind of been looking into it's a sad fact that you have to recover bodies frequently. And she's been looking into kind of how that whole process works. Chelsea, good morning. Tell us a little bit more about what you've learned.
Sure. Ron, Syleste, very good morning to you. You know, I actually met a canine handler and a canine, a cadaver dog, in Texas, in Kerrville, when I was there about a month ago. And they talked about their training, all the different kinds of smells that dogs can have, which we all know that dogs have an incredible sense of smell compared to us humans. But, I mean, they have to learn hundreds and hundreds of different smells when it comes to finding decomposing bodies. And you have these levels of decomposition. You have all the different kinds of human remains, but then you factor in the environment as well, like being near water, in water, under piles of debris, whether they were burned. So many different aspects really are what these cadaver dogs are trained on. And I was told that with this specific canine handler, his dog was trained at Western Carolina University, where they have a forensics lab. They have humans that have been able to donate their bodies over the years. And that's how these trainers and these canines are able to actually learn more about the decomposition of what the human body goes through. And then, it's just very fascinating because they're able to do all of that training. It's about an hour west of where I'm standing right now. And I just learned so much. It's pretty amazing what these dogs can do. But again, Syleste, Ron, I mean, these dogs are just an asset. They're a tool in the toolbox when it comes to these disaster zones.
Chelsea, when it comes to these animals and how they're trained, how many months are they trained for? And we have some video that we're looking at right now. Are they put in different types of environments and situations?
Absolutely. Actually, at least for a lot of these programs, these training courses that happen there at the Cadaver Dog program, these can last for a few weeks to months long. And what's so interesting is that there's different levels. So there's a level 1 of just cadaver dog training. But in October, there's actually going to be a water recovery training. So as we know with Helene, as we know with the flood in Texas, and many other disasters that have happened with flooding itself, a lot of these bodies get mixed up in the river, in the creeks, and so that's something that a lot of these dogs and their handlers will be learning as well. They'll be on the boats or they'll be on some sort of raft, and they can learn exactly how to detect human remains, but then also they'll learn how the human odor can actually change over time when it's mixed with water.
One of the things I'm wondering, and we're going to show some of the video for our audience here of the various levels of flooding. I mean, it has just been of epic proportions over the course of the last 12 months. First there in North Carolina, really very close to where you are, and then also in Texas. So, for example, we're showing our audience right now, here's a guy walking around, it looks like in about foot deep water. When the water is still at, before it fully recedes, were you able to determine, does it make it quite a bit harder for the dogs to actually do their jobs?
I've learned so much, Ron. I think one thing that I have learned is that these dogs need to have some sort of athletic ability. When I spoke to the trainer, the director of the cadaver dog program at this university, she says dogs not only should have the play and work ethic, and they should also be smart dogs, but they should also be athletic so they can get into all of these hard to reach terrain and areas, whether it's in the mountains or whether it's in the hill country of Texas. And then, you have the different levels of how high the water can get, how low it can get. And so that's something that also a lot of the handlers themselves also need to be trained on. So it's not just the cadaver dogs, but it's the handlers as well. And I think one thing that I found was so interesting when I was in Texas is that the divers were saying is that they would wait for the cadaver dogs to hint at a certain area, and they would almost have a hint of a triangular area. So they'd try different angles. And again, I'm not an expert on this, but from what I was told by the divers is that there's certain pockets of air that will come up underneath the water. And because these dogs are trained in a multitude of different smells, if they smell something in particular that hints at human remains, they will make sure that they're hinting at that spot, and that's when the divers can go in there and actually start searching to see if, in fact, there are human remains in there.
And, we only have about 30 seconds left, but just very quickly, since you're in North Carolina, how are the people doing there? And have they recovered? I mean, both literally, in terms of their homes, their properties, their livelihoods, and just, kind of mentally as well.
I think it's getting there, Ron. Honestly, the recovery is still going in some places, like here in Asheville. The tourism is starting to boom, which is great. But then you have other smaller communities in and around the region, and people are still trying to figure out how to rebuild their homes. They're maybe staying in temporary housing. Maybe some of their businesses and their workplace has not been opened yet because they're still trying to rebuild. But people are optimistic, and the recovery is ongoing. They're just hoping that people come out and visit to really get that tourism booming.
All right, Chelsea, thank you so much for your time. We appreciate it, and appreciate the help of all those animals, the cadaver dogs.
Yeah, really good insight there,
Yeah.
Chelsea. Thanks very much. Okay, already, Celeste, ready for our first break.
My goodness, the time has flown.
I know, but I know you've been chatting with folks in the chat box.
Yes.
And here's your chance to guess the mystery cam. We do one at 10:15 and another at 11:45. Here you look at that pretty mountain town.
Wow.
Where do you think it is? Back in a flash. you know, I think in the break, some people get commercials, but other people just get to stare at it for 2 minutes.
Yeah, and they get to guess.
Correct. And so we went to the break, and I just said, wow, what a pretty little town somewhere in the mountains. Celeste, what are you seeing?
Well, it is absolutely gorgeous. You have the hills behind you, and plenty of you have chimed in. We have Massachusetts from Mike Kubasco. Mike, I'm not sure if you're new to the chat, but welcome. Good morning. Samantha Jarko said Connecticut.
Hello, Mike, and hello, Samantha.
And Linda Monterth is watching, and so is hubby. She says her husband says it's Georgia. She says Virginia.
Okay.
And Melinda says she's just going to keep guessing Tucson until one day it really is Tucson. And for those of you who don't live in Arizona, it's not Tucson, but it sure does look like it.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes.
Michael Edward Donovan with the West Virginia. I like the sound of that one. I'm really trying to. You would think with the big screen TVs we have in our studio, Celeste, you could be able to read those road
Do you
signs.
see the clock at the top? It's 1:15.
Oh, Celeste.
So that takes
Excellent.
us to the East Coast.
So much for the Tucson guess.
And the Texas, for that matter.
Okay, yeah. All right, so we're in the Eastern time zone. As soon as I saw those mountains, I actually was thinking kind of New England. So believe it or not, I think I'm going to go with a Massachusetts.
Yeah, I was looking at the street signs, too. You have the gas lamps.
Yeah.
So I'm going to go with all the folks in PA.
Okay,
Because
PA or MA.
PA-MA.
Those are our two guesses. Thank you,
All
everybody,
right,
for playing
here
along.
is the answer.
By the way, notice it says MC1. What do you got?
Stroudsburg, PA.
Oh, Celeste,
Nice
another victory for
work.
you.
And Jens Wall, Frankie D, you both said PA. And I
Okay.
think there were a few other of you as well. So,
Okay.
oh my, Patricia Randolph?
She got the town even?
Well, last week she had Texas, Denton. Patricia.
Oh, yes.
We need to know more as to have you been in a geography bee?
Well, yeah, and here I thought I had a map stuck in my brain. Patricia is nailing it. By the way, I'm just looking on maps, and you know the old Billy Joel song, Living Here in Allentown.
Oh, yes.
It's north of Allentown by maybe 30 miles.
Okay, so I'm going to extend
Kind of up toward the Poconos.
Ron, we're gonna extend an olive branch to Patricia here this morning.
Really? Okay.
Patricia, if you are
Does she need an olive branch, Celeste? Is there something we've done to perturb Patricia?
Well, I wanted to extend the invitation. Maybe we can do a little interview with her, a phone interview.
Okay.
And talk about how she knows so many of these towns in these states. Oh, she loves history and geography. Thank you. Big D. Take a look at the comments. But
that came straight from the man himself, you guys. He's been there chatting with her. All right. Just got to give the public what they want.
Oh, my goodness. They've been waiting for that all morning. But, Patricia, email us at fox10talks at fox.com.
Okay.
Maybe we can do a phone interview with her on here if she's willing.
I love it.
You know, talk about how much she loves it. And does she look at maps? Is her wallpaper in her home maps?
Celeste, when I was a kid, I had a map collection. When
Did
most
you
of the other
really?
boys in the neighborhood had baseball card collections.
Wow.
Right?
Yes.
Then we would go to my Aunt Jeannie and Uncle Jerry's house.
Okay.
And they had a Rand McNally Atlas. Oh, Celeste.
You wanted to stay the night.
Oh, I dreamed about what would it be like in Winston-Salem, North Carolina, or Terre Haute, Indiana, all these faraway places.
Well, now you know because you have visited
all 50
states, and now you're going to go on another adventure coming up soon.
So I'm doing a reset, and I realized how great, to get to all 50 states. But then I said, wouldn't it be cool if over time you could learn each state inside and out? So next week I'm going to go to one of the states.
Yeah, beautiful state this time of year.
Very famous, beloved state by a lot of people. And the stories that I have already found out. And I'm going to zoom in with you from this so far mystery state.
Yes.
But we'll talk about it next week.
Yeah, we're looking forward to that.
Okay, so one thing about going anywhere else is not going to be as hot as here. I mean, we're sticking with 117 for Thursday. I think we're saying 116 for tomorrow.
Yes.
And so workers have been coming forward to complain about the brutal working conditions at Sky Harbor out on the tarmac. And an investigation apparently has revealed that some of the trucks that Sky Chefs use, they bring the food right to the plane.
Yes.
When you're walking on the one side, you're walking in saying hi to the flight attendants.
Yeah, they're on the other end.
That's why that door is open. They're bringing all your food in. And apparently some of these trucks do not have working air conditioning in the summer.
That is crazy.
Yeah.
So does that mean they don't have they have air conditioning in the winter? Or do they never have it?
Yeah, I think they don't reach for it in the winter months, but it violates some city requirements that all enclosed trucks on the tarmac have got to be able to cool down to 75 degrees. And so the aviation department says it's doing regular inspections in the company. Here, get this now. If they don't fix it, if they're found to be in violation, they'll be refused access to the airfield. So when you get onto a flight next week and you're like, where's my peanuts? Where's my pretzels?
Do they bring the pretzels, or is it just for those fancy people in first class?
I don't know the answer to that.
Because
yeah, it could be everything. They're the food people. Okay, so here is a little bit more about what was getting said regarding all of this.
The fact that as a city we had to do this, and that is not something that some of these companies think about day in and day out on how to keep their workers safe. I just think it's inhumane.
Yeah, well, you could certainly make a good argument about that. Here are the trucks in question, and it's just not clear how many of them don't have the AC. But there's the letter that just went out like 10 days ago, 2 weeks ago, to Sky Chefs. Come on.
It's so unfortunate.
Gosh, it is.
If we've got air conditioning in the mail trucks, got air conditioning in the UPS trucks, Amazon trucks.
Yep.
These guys, the tarmac is one of the hottest places in the city. They should have those.
Yeah. When we moved here from Spokane, back in those days in the Great Northwest, you frequently would buy a car with no AC. We spent the whole first summer, Celeste, in Arizona with no AC.
Wow.
And I'm rolling the window down.
How old were you again?
Let's see. I think I would have been in my mid-20s.
Wow.
I was quite a young man.
Yeah.
I was the cub reporter of the newsroom.
Yeah.
And I just remember rolling the window down just to get some circulation, hopping on the 10 and driving out to Mesa.
So how long did you have no AC?
I think that, when did we finally actually get a car? I'm trying to think. Because, in the early days in this business, you're not making a lot of money. And I'm like, it could take a while. Anyway, we finally got it. But look, that's just me driving down the 10 at 5 in the afternoon on a hot summer day. It's something else when you're stuck in these trucks and you're working all day long.
Well, and I think
there has to be refrigeration in the back.
In the coolers.
Or the food would spoil.
They probably have coolers back there, don't you think?
Yeah,
Ron, by the way, that was your initiation to the Valley.
Thank
Everybody
you very much.
And you stayed.
Yeah. By the way, where can you go to cool off? Ladies and gentlemen, we present to you. You guys are going to love this. Whether you're one of our regulars or one of our brand new people today, like Payday 602.
Payday. Everybody loves a payday.
Mike, some of our other brand new viewers. We've got a lot of folks watching today. Here's where you go. You follow in the footsteps of the one and only Bella.
Bella. We got a Bella bomb this morning.
Okay, so Bella and her mom. I thought that had to be her sister.
I know.
When I first saw this
Her
picture.
mom's beautiful.
She's beautiful and very youthful looking, and she is probably the #1 fan of Fox 10 Talks.
Love it.
Yeah, that's a bold claim because I know we got a lot of #1 fans. But anyway, they're up there in Seattle. They love the Huskies just like me, and they went to Ivar's, the famous fish and chips place.
Oh, the best.
Up there. And yesterday I'm like, I can't believe it's sweater or sweatshirt weather anywhere. And you know what she said back to me? It's 63 degrees right now.
It's so amazing.
Holy cow. I don't even know if Alaska was that chilly yesterday. She said today it's in the 70s, but I know they're watching. And Bella, we miss you, and we cannot wait until you get back.
We miss you.
Here to Arizona. Hey, we should mention, because we're going to really keep an eye on it, we have a new fire in Arizona, and this is from the Forest Service, and it's burning up in that beautiful mountain country a little bit north of Miami and Claypool as you drive through the mountains on the way over toward Roosevelt, the big popular fishing lake up there. And here's what we have learned so far. Evacuation orders, they're putting them in place. It's called the Billy Fire. And the Gila County Sheriff's Office is directing all residents in the Murphy Ranch area to leave their homes. I don't know, Celeste, have you ever taken that highway? You know, it's right by the Walmart. So you go through Miami, and then you're in Claypool, and you take a left at the stoplight just past the Walmart.
Okay.
That highway that goes down over to Roosevelt and then climbs all the way back up to Jake's Corner is really one of the most beautiful in our state. And I hate to think that some of the forest lands along that highway are going to be destroyed, but that's what's happening.
Well, you know, I was just taking a look at INCIWeb, which is a really good resource online to take a look. It's for those of you who are familiar with the Tano National Forest, it's just on the northeast side of Baker Mountain, and it's in very, very rugged terrain.
Yeah.
And so they have a number of firefighters up there working that fire, but and air support as well. It's warm, it's dry, and I wonder how many hot shots they got up there as well. Sometimes they drop those hot shots in by helicopter.
Yeah, I know. By the way, there is a meeting tonight in Fredonia.
Yes.
And tomorrow night in Page. And this is the first chance people are going to have to ask questions about the big fire up there, the Dragon Bravo.
Yeah.
And people want answers. They want to know, I think they want almost hour-by-hour answers. What was going on after the lightning struck once you realized there was a fire? And how did you handle it? And what can we learn from it? So those meetings, again, tonight in Fredonia. And I'm sure we're going to have some reports on this because we've all wanted answers about the big Dragon Bravo fire, now up over 125,000 acres.
Well, you mentioned it yesterday, Ron, and I think this is something that may come up. The temperatures on 4th of July at the North Rim were in the 60s. Yeah. And so I wonder if by chance, and this is, of course, will be a question at this meeting, they thought maybe because of those temperatures in the 60s that they could just babysit the fire and not have to, attack it right away.
Yeah. Plus, I think if you're in a national park, you have more of a tendency to take a more natural approach.
For sure.
Yeah.
So I wonder if that's going to be a part of it. Maybe that was a part of the initial thinking in terms of how they respond to the fire.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, it's we've talked about it. It now has created its own storm system within the fire.
Yeah.
It's called a megafire and the largest burning in the United States right now.
Okay, coming up after the break, we're going to ask AI. I'm trying to make it sound like it's a big-time production.
Is AI ready for Ron Hoon? No. I do not know.
Find out why after the break. Fox 10 Talks. It's Ron and Syleste, the streaming show that brings you all the latest information from around the world and around your block.
Absolutely.
Today we're talking about ChatGPT. The boss came up with this new idea of Ask AI. Now let me just look and see. Ready? Here we go. It's time to Ask AI. And the question has to do, Syleste.
It's brilliant.
Thank
Big
you.
D.
Good.
And Ron Hoon.
Yeah. So ChatGPT has announced they're now going to urge their users to take breaks if you've been on the platform for too long. Not that ChatGPT needs a break, but you do. So the company says the reminders will pop up every so often that just reads, just checking in. You've been chatting for a while. Is this a good time for a break?
Okay.
Now, first of all, I'm not on board with this. I'm really not. Have you ever gotten a rental car and, I don't know, after like 45 minutes, a little ding pops up and it says, there's a little cup of coffee and it says, time for a break? Like, no.
Oh, I
still have a plan here. I'm driving 300 miles today. Knock it off. I don't need you to be my mom. And I don't need ChatGPT either. Come on.
And it comes on in the car after like 30 to 45 minutes.
So you've experienced this too.
I have seen that. Do
great.
you take a break?
This is what ChatGPT is going to do to us now. This could be the downfall of GPT. Anyway, okay, fine. So that's their whole concept is if you've been on there for too long, I don't know. Okay, so we're going to ask ChatGPT, or wait, which one do you use?
ChatGPT.
Okay, go ahead and ask it, Syleste. I know you just did. What do you got here?
ChatGPT, do you need a break?
What? I can't hear him.
Hold on, let me put it up.
I thought you were going to ask him, am I annoying you?
Oh, yeah, I'll ask him that. ChatGPT, am I annoying you?
Here we go.
Nope, not at all. You're not annoying me.
Okay.
That's it.
That was a quick, simple answer.
He's a man. He's a man of few words.
Okay, go ahead and ask it your next question. And I'm going to ask, get ready here, everybody. Have I been asking you too many questions lately? After about how much time would you recommend I take a break? Ready? Go ahead. Okay, so.
Oh, I will ask him that. Yes. Okay.
Okay, good.
Okay.
Okay, here we go. Go ahead, Syleste.
Okay.
Yeah.
ChatGPT, are you a member of the FTT family?
Are you referring to something specific with FTT family? Could you clarify a bit?
Fox 10 Talks
good.
on
See,
YouTube.
Yeah. This is good. Go ahead, Syleste.
Let's see what he's thinking.
It seems you're referring to Fox 10 Talks, a YouTube series where Fox 10 Phoenix anchors discuss current events.
What?
You can find their videos on the Fox 10 Phoenix YouTube channel.
Wow. Amazing.
That was amazing. And Frankie D, thank you for the idea. That was brilliant.
Yes.
Fox 10 Talks.
Oh,
a
I can't hear
YouTube
that
series
enough.
where Fox 10
See, he just keeps repeating himself
Yeah.
afterwards. It's
Okay, well, so here's what ChatGPT said to me. Not at all. You're welcome to ask as many questions as you like. That said, if you're starting to feel mentally tired or like you're jumping from topic to topic,
Yes.
it might be a good idea to take a break, a short break. Here are a few checks you can use to decide. Are your eyes and your brain feeling tired? Is one of them.
That's what they want us to ask him? Okay.
Are you still curious and enjoying the flow? If so, let's go. This is good. Do you feel like you're reading answers but not absorbing them? Time for a break.
Oh, time for a break. Okay.
All right.
Should I ask him? Mr. Pavline wants us to ask what Ron Hoon's yearly salary is.
Okay, you know what, Syleste? Go ahead and ask. This could be fast. I'm totally fine with it. Go ahead.
Okay, let's do it. Okay, hold on one second.
This may be where we shut down the stream after all. Okay.
ChatGPT, what is Ron Hoon's yearly salary?
I couldn't find public information about Ron Hoon's salary. Salaries for local news anchors like him are often private. However, according to Glassdoor, the average salary for a news anchor in Phoenix is around $60,000 per year.
Woo-hoo! Okay, now we're talking. This is Dave. Could you turn the air conditioning on? I'm sweating my brains out here.
My goodness!
On the,
can I hear?
on the
Is
stream.
Ron's mic on? Are we hearing you?
Wait.
Are we hearing you, Ron?
Did I turn it off a second ago?
I think you're sweating.
Yeah,
Okay, hold
I'm
on.
actually sweating.
1 second. I have to zoom into Ron's lip.
Have you guys been able to hear me for the last 5 minutes?
No.
Okay. All right. Well, anyway.
Hold on, Ron.
Sorry about that. Celeste, quit, would you?
Ron's sweating.
Yeah,
Lips
that's right.
sweating.
It's got to be 87 degrees in here. I'm not complaining. It's 112 outside. But anyway. Celeste, let's talk about what is stressing people out. And
Apparently, asking your salary is stressing
me out.
Stressing you
No,
out.
it's this other story about groceries, and a new survey is out, and people are saying, "Come on! I mean, these prices. What have you? Oh, wait, oops, hold on, grocery. I'm trying to punch grocery. Hold on here. Do we have it at VO7? I mean,
Otani.
Yeah.
He doesn't do his own grocery
hey,
shopping.
by the way, there's Sydney Sweeney again. Anyway,
She apparently has good genes.
yes, she definitely does. Okay, hang on, VO11.
Ron
I
is-
wish we were coming
No,
together.
I'm sorry, it is
I mean,
not
the
VO11.
fact that as a city we
Okay,
had to
hold on. Skip it. Okay, you got grocery file? Take it away. Here we go. Now, what about the price of meat? Celeste, come on. Get it together. Come on. We got a whole hour to do here.
Ron is still sweating, and now he's red.
Oh my gosh. I'm
Ron,
telling you,
take a
it's
deep breath.
sauna in here. Okay, now that everybody knows I make $60,000 a year, Celeste, thanks a lot. Here's Dave, who makes more than that. He's
Dave.
He's at the very top of the chain of command.
Oh, yeah, I'm making boatloads, guys.
All right. What's the number one thing, Dave, that's stressing you out at the grocery store? I'm going to go with the meat prices.
Oh yeah, eggs.
That's a really good guess. The meat prices are definitely up there.
Only 14% of Americans say they are not stressed about groceries. Now, something the president's got to keep in mind. Inflation was one of the main reasons that people, I think, voted against Joe Biden and voted for him.
Yeah.
So the election's in a year and a half, and I think he's got to. Gas prices have come way down. I got a gas station out by my house that's below $3 a gallon, $2.93, and I'm so happy about that. Except I don't buy gas. I drive an electric car. But I'm just glad that in general the prices have been coming down.
Yes.
So they need to come down. It seems like you solved the egg problem and now you got the meat problem.
Well, and I still feel like eggs are a bit pricey. Like I remember we used to be able to get a dozen eggs for 99 cents on sale, and now they're still like, $2.99 on sale.
Yeah.
So
I know it.
and the meat prices, you're right. The ground beef prices have gone up by at least $2 in the last 2 months.
I don't get it.
Per pound.
Are we losing cows? Do we not have as many cows as we used to have? What's happening?
I don't know. Can we get a rancher on the line? I mean, we need to hear about this.
I once had a photographer at another TV station that I worked at who did raise cattle.
Well, and you can buy
and
a
it's
cow.
tough.
You can buy a cow.
Yeah.
Maybe we buy a cow and we
Okay.
split it. Maybe
All right.
Big D.
Yeah,
You
sure.
and me, we can split the cow.
Right. Okay, I should not tell this story, but Renee's mom and dad did that when, because they were really into having like a year's supply of food and that
In the
kind of thing. They're
freezer.
like, what about the meat?
Yes.
And they had Brutus out in the backyard. You're just a regular suburban neighbor.
Poor Brutus.
Yeah, well, he was tasty. Anyway, look, here's the whole situation when it comes to overall prices. Our prices, if you guys want to pop up the White House, I know it's on Edge 1, but give me an E and G button I can push here. So the word came down from the president this morning. He was doing an interview on one of the business channels, CNBC, I believe it was. And can we route that? I don't know. You guys just let me know. Okay.
Oh, he's working on it.
So the president said he is so tired of of us relying on other countries for pharmaceuticals
Right.
that he's going to start with, let me make sure I have these facts correct. that he'll start with a fairly low tariff rate, but they have to get the message. We cannot be in a situation. What if we had a real showdown with China and they said, we're not shipping you any more of your prescription drugs?
Well, that's great. Yeah, we should make at least some of our prescription drugs in the United States. Remember during COVID, everything came out of China.
Yeah. Okay, so here we go. We got the picture from the White House. Oh, wait. Okay, Congress, that's close enough. Anyway, the president said it could go to 150. It'll start with a small tariff, but then over the next year to year and a half, he could raise it to... I love that flag. Remember he said the other day, I'm going to put a flag in front and back of the White House? It's really super cool. But let's go to our poll question now, Syleste, because this is, we all know we're reliant on these other countries.
Yes.
And China, India, I think Ireland was one of them. And believe it or not, over the course of this past year, the import numbers have kept going up. Yeah. Even though in COVID, we're like, oh, supply chain. Now we realize we're totally dependent on other countries for all of our prescriptions. 49% of you say, you know what? Good. I'm glad he's doing it. We got to quit relying on China and India and other countries. 36% saying this is bad. It's going to raise prescription drug prices.
And Ron, I got to tell you. Yeah. The numbers are very different on YouTube.
They always are.
Yes.
Yeah. So this is, I think the QR code is more people that are actively watching us right now because we pop it up on the screen and encourage you, versus the YouTube audience group is just anybody online who happens to run across the poll. 15% say we're too dependent on other countries. 250 is too high, maybe 25%. Syleste, there you go. Oh, wait. Oh, do we have the other?
We have.
Okay, go for it.
You want to go for the YouTube?
Yeah, you tell us what there's.
We have about 622 votes right now on YouTube, 630 now. Okay. So only 28% said good, we have to quit relying on China, India, and other countries. Bad, it'll raise prescription drug prices. 58% of people voted for that one. So that one is actually winning right now on YouTube. We're way too dependent on other countries, but 250% is too high. 15%. Do we want to check in with Big D?
Yeah, let's do it.
Comments and stuff like that on this here.
Hey, Dave, give us one right now, and then we'll take a quick break. Can you scoot a quick one in, and then we'll come back to you after the break?
Sure. Genesis 007 says, it's time to bring production back to the U.S. as opposed to unnecessarily making ourselves dependent on other countries. Make other countries dependent on America instead. Got a couple more comments I can share after the break.
All right, that's coming up with the Big D after we show you this beautiful little town that is the state capital. Back in 2 minutes with Ron and Syleste. And we welcome you back to more of FTT. So here's the game plan now. We do 2 hours every day of a streaming show on YouTube, the Fox Local app, and fox10phoenix.com, and also Channel 45.
Now we know how much money Ron makes. Do you guys have any other questions we can ask AI throughout this 2-hour block of Fox?
Do you mind running through your household budget? All right. Anyway, we want to bring Big D back in to talk just a little bit more about some of these responses. Here's an update, by the way, on that poll question. 48% saying good. We got to quit relying on those other countries. 37% saying bad. It'll raise prescription drug prices, and the numbers are flipped in our YouTube poll. Take it away, Big D.
All right. Fast Approaching says drugs are cheaper in other countries because Americans are too dependent on drugs, period. 75% of the population shouldn't be on drugs, period. And then Sean Quinn 555 says pharma has been making too much money at the detriment of our health. The long-lasting side effects of most of these drugs cause other health issues, requiring more meds that pharma benefits from. Way to go, Trump. I don't want anything our enemies make. So great comments. As you can see, everybody's really passionate about this topic, so keep them up, guys. We love hearing from you.
It is really interesting, all the stuff we learned during COVID. Remember,
totally
people could not get their hands on their regular prescriptions.
No, they couldn't.
So since we have Dave here, Celeste, I really wish we had a band, a Fox 10 Talks band, so we could do a big old drum roll. Because, ladies and gentlemen, in about 10 seconds, you're going to see the first Fox 10 Talks t-shirt. Remember a week ago, it was T-shirt Tuesday.
Yes.
And so I suggested, what about free shirt Friday? Did you have an idea too?
Mine was T-shirt Tuesday.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's working.
Yeah.
So here's the first one. Let me have that drum roll one more time, Celeste. Drum roll, please. Here we go. Ladies and gentlemen, one of our great loyal viewers, Michael Donovan in Anthem. Look at how good that shirt looks, Michael.
Wow. It brings out the color in his cheeks. It's perfect.
Does.
You know,
he's
glowing.
Look how happy it made him.
Yeah, he's glowing.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, he was already having a good day, but once he put that shirt on, look at that smile. He's having a great day.
And if he wasn't married already, I bet he landed somebody this day.
There you go. A lot of people in Anthem walking around saying, who's that handsome guy? He's in the FTT family?
He is.
How about that?
I know.
So if you were one of the lucky few who got T-shirts in that first round, which was last Tuesday, and we're working on a plan to try to get some more shirts, we would love it if you would email us. Dave, what's our email address again?
Fox10Talks at fox.com.
Or if you want to hashtag it on social, hashtag Fox10Talks.
Or if you want to text us, Ron, what's your cell phone number?
480. Nah, I better not.
Well,
enough personal information about me
This is
today.
a safe space, Ron.
Yeah. Okay. So anyway, that is just so great. We're so happy about it. It's really wonderful.
Yes.
Something else is going on in Arizona this week that is a tradition that, you know, a lot of colleges are getting ready for the football season. They all are. But we have this unique tradition because it's kind of warm here in the month of August. And so Coach Kenny takes the gang. And this goes, I think, all the way back to the Frank Kush days.
Oh, yeah, it does. You're absolutely right.
To Camp Tonazona in northern Arizona. And let me see if we don't have a little bit of video from what it's like up there. Oh, my gosh. Look, people are thinking I'm like obsessed with Sydney Sweeney.
Ron, are you?
Which I am.
Should we ask ChatGPT?
Not the reason I'm trying to where. All right, hold on. You guys tell me I need Camp Tonazona. Okay, take it away, Big Bri. This is what it...
Michael is also a big fan. Oh, here we go.
All right, here we go. So families go up there, Celeste, and they'll hang the whole weekend.
Yes.
The week leading up to the big game on Saturday. They have a kind of a scrimmage.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's a big day on Saturday when the scrimmage takes place, but it's this whole week long, of events. And I think, it takes you back to get the guys away. They have some, time to build the camaraderie with the team. They get to know each other a little bit more. They're staying in these cabins.
Yep.
My husband played for Arizona State years ago, and he still has videos, home videos he would take of like inside the cabins, the guys doing skits and singing songs. And it's so cool for the families to go up there too this week. And, they get to play together.
Okay, so the Maroon and Gold scrimmage is Saturday morning at 9 a.m. Don't miss your chance, says ASU, to witness this one-of-a-kind experience, see Sun Devil football up close and personal. That's the very main reason that a lot of people like spring training. You can just get up close and personal. Yeah, I mean, you feel like you're right there standing on the sidelines or up in the bleachers. And so they, by the way, were selected almost top 10 in America in the brand new preseason USA Today coaches poll.
Yeah.
They came in at number 11. High expectations, and I think they're going to be amazing.
That is huge.
Yeah. So then what we thought we would do, and I'm hesitant to punch too many of these buttons, but we thought we would chat with you a little bit about if you're going to go up to Payson. The game is Saturday, but you could go up Thursday or Friday and spend some time up in Payson.
They have got great donuts at that Bash's.
Okay, so here we go with some of our pictures. This is Kai when he was how old at Camp Tonto?
I think he might have been 4.
That's so great.
Maybe 2.
And then, look, this is you guys up in the pines.
Yeah, we've been going for years, so this takes us back a little bit. But this is the field that the guys were playing on.
Yeah.
Is there. That's the Camp Tonto field.
It's just such a gem to have it there. Here's one more.
Yeah,
okay,
that's Gary and Kai.
Gary, his look never changes.
I know.
Because these pictures are from 15 years ago.
Correct?
Yeah,
maybe 12 years ago.
Okay.
But yeah, he ages well, fortunately.
He sure does. Okay, and then here's the thing about Payson. You can go, to me, the best hike in the state that never gets talked about is the Tonto Bridge.
Oh, yeah.
It's a state park. And so we took, I took our daughter Alexa, her husband Austin, and the kids right there with Avery and Everett. And the thing about it is you can hike down there. It's there's a part of it is just a staircase. It's a good little workout. And behind you is a little waterfall, although it's hard to make out. It's about a 20-minute drive north of Payson on the way to Pine and Strawberry, which are both adorable little towns. You could spend a whole half day in either one of them.
They've got a great, so you go up, do this hike, as you mentioned, Ron.
Yeah.
And then you go to Old County and you grab some pizza. And that's called Old County Pizza.
Or you go to some of the breakfast joints up there, or in town in Payson.
Or go to the antique shops.
Yes, they got a bunch of them up there. Pine and Strawberry are just beautiful little towns in the pines. And so I think I don't know if I have one more photo. Yeah, no, I do. Here's kind of what it looks like if you actually end up going over there for one of the hikes. Actually, I think that might be the last on our list of graphics. I don't think I have
It is a beautiful
11.
hike, though. And they have, if you're driving north of Payson, Ron, growing up, we always camped at Woods Canyon.
Sure.
And I always...
Camping?
And I've always... At that McDonald's right on the corner of 87 and 260.
Oh, yeah.
You go north of that and you run into this.
So this is what it looks like. You're there. It's almost like there's a permanent little lake because there's a waterfall from a natural spring. And can you see the hikers over to the right there? You literally can go down by where the water comes down and go all the way through the bridge, the Tonto Bridge, and come out the other side.
Yeah, it's so cool.
Yeah.
There's so many great spots to hike there in and around Payson, and this is just one of them there north of town.
By the way, since we're talking about ASU, let's talk about this brilliant idea of how they're using the Mullet Arena this summer, Celeste. To me, this is one of the great ideas.
It is.
And I'm going to pull it up as Pickleball V09. Here we go. Mullet Arena. Transform. No, it's not a hockey field right now. You know what it is? There's no ice down there. There's air conditioning, and there's pickleball courts.
It's brilliant.
Isn't it so cool?
Yeah, and you have all those stands in there. Your friends and family can come watch and cheer you on. You think they're going to start like throwing punches on the pickleball courts like they do in hockey?
Right, sure. Like drop the gloves. Let's go. Well, here's the thing. It's only going to be $10 per person per hour on a drop-in basis, or $40 per court per hour. So if you want to just organize it and bring like 3 friends.
Yeah, there you
And
go.
there's this, it's still the same $10 per person. But the paddles and the balls, they have them there. They're available on a first come, first serve basis. So whether you're a beginner or you're really good at the game,
Yeah, you can just get started.
you can head on down there. And I just say, ASU, you guys rock. What a brilliant, brilliant idea there.
Yeah, they're not using the arena right now. So
Yeah.
I'm just wondering, maybe they'll cool the floors, keep your feet nice and
Right.
cool.
Ooh, this is kind of icy. One last story here we're going to talk about real quick is that
I mean, the fact that as a
Whoa.
city we had to
Hold
do
on.
this.
Okay, I'm looking for Ty. I don't know. Some of these buttons aren't
Ty's
working
now
today.
in here.
The New York Post. Do we still have that video of the New York Post anywhere? Okay, here it comes.
Oh, California.
By the way, that's Sydney Sweeney, the sweetheart of Spokane.
Yeah, Ron's been accidentally pressing that button all the hour long.
Whoopsie.
This one just keeps
look at it,
popping
though.
up.
Notice it doesn't say New York Post. Get this. You're looking at what's going to be the newest newspaper in America, the California Post.
Oh.
Los Angeles, here we come. And then, look, they've got all those sports. They can talk about the Dodgers and the Lakers and the Angels.
Yeah.
And I think it's going to be great.
And by the way, Frankie D says, keep pushing that button, Ron.
Well, guess what? We have it on a loop. So in a few more seconds, you fans of Sydney Sweeney, which, by the way, goes all the way up the chain of command of President Trump.
She's got good genes.
She's got good genes. And anyway, I love the success she's having coming from a smaller community like Spokane.
And she has a lot of fans.
Oh my gosh! in
You
the
know?
millions. You follow her on the gram?
Yes.
Holy cow! Ty joins us, by the way. So anyway, now you got the New York Post and the California Post. Ty, what's going on?
We got both.
There you go.
I got it. Who was here last?
Yeah.
I gotta
don't
just
know.
let me just scoot back
There you
down.
go.
There we go.
Right, there you go.
There we go. Good morning.
Nice.
This is actually
this
comfy.
Is
I
more
like it.
casual.
You know
Yeah.
what?
Hey,
Try to put
let's
your
do
feet
that.
up.
Oh, yeah,
Come on.
Celeste, join
Here,
the
you
crowd.
can put your feet up. Put your
Yeah.
feet up.
Join the. Oh, I
There
don't know
you
about
go.
this table. Oh, I don't like that.
This is what we're talking about,
Yeah,
Ron.
but it's more
Put your feet.
cash.
Oh, yeah.
Come on, Ron.
Okay.
Come on,
fine.
We're all
join
just,
us, Ron.
we're all relaxing.
Yeah.
This is the way Fox 10 Talk should have been billed, you know?
Yeah.
Okay, right.
Just
Go ahead.
chilling out.
If you guys want to take it. Good. How about this, Ty? You've got your nice dress shoes. I got my Skechers, and Celeste has those $450 6-inch heels.
Ron, you bought them for me on your $60,000 salary.
By the way, we're all revealing our salaries today.
Oh,
as
we
part of the show. You're
I don't know
gonna
if I
love
want to play this game.
it. What do you have coming up at 11?
I think we should just do this the rest of the show.
Somebody save us.
More laid back than ever. Back in 2 minutes.
All right, welcome on into Fox 10 Talk. So I just got a text message from Anita, who's supposed to be here. She's running late.
She skipped. No, she's playing hooky. No, no.
Maybe
No,
she
she's
is.
not.
Anita's working very hard on a story. I just want to be her representative right now.
Since our bosses sometimes watch this. No, so she's running a little bit late.
Yeah.
So, Des, thank you for taking over, and you're going to hang out with us for a little bit.
We were in our morning editorial meeting anyway, planning for the next day. So
you're like cramming like a test. Because I was like, here's what we're doing.
Give me the sheet.
But we're going to talk about this because we brought Crystal in because it is going to be... it's going to be brutal.
You guys brought me in to bully me, just be honest.
That's true.
You mad at me for
listen.
this?
No, I love you too much.
Oh, thank you.
But these temperatures, they're going to be bullying us.
Yeah.
And
it's not
today's
good.
kind of the first day of where we're really going to start to see that mercury rise.
So we've pretty consistently been at like 110, 111, 112, but today we hit 113, and then it's upward from there Wednesday, Thursday. The weekend it starts to improve, but we've got a good handful of days where we're going to be struggling a little bit. So we've got that extreme heat warning that's in place. There we go. There's my graphics for you. So almost the whole state now is under an extreme heat warning with the exception of our higher elevation locations. Grand Canyon below 4,000 feet. Mojave County kicks into gear tomorrow through Thursday. Parts of Yavapai County below 4,000 feet. Now all of Gila County starting tomorrow. And then everywhere south. So we're talking Maricopa County, Pinal County, Pima County, most of like Cochise County, Graham Greenlee, all under these extreme heat warnings because the temperatures are going to be in that like 105 to 115 plus territory, which, I mean, we do this every year, so it's not like, oh, we've never dealt with this, but it is rough. And I did read a really interesting stat for Phoenix specifically. National Weather Service put this out. The hottest temperature we've recorded in August, it's happened 4 times on record, is 117 degrees, which is our forecast by Thursday.
Wow.
So this may be the hottest for August that we have seen on record. There's the forecast highs for today, guys. 112 Ahwatukee, like 113 at Sky Harbor. Pretty much all the same. 112 Surprise, 111 Mesa. Everyone's cooking later today. It's definitely not like outdoor hangout weather. Certainly don't hike. Please, 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 please. And then there's the records for you. So 116 Wednesday's the forecast. The current record is 114, which was set in 2023, which, if we remember, 2023 was just like
a nightmare.
Non-stop records. Like
So
we
was
just
2020, remember?
well, and I wasn't here for 2020.
Oh, I was.
But I remember hearing about it when I was living on the East Coast.
2020.
During
Pandemic
the
year,
pandemic,
all
it was
that- all
hot,
that year is a
and we
blur.
were under the pandemic.
I was
It
stuck inside.
bizarre.
Yeah, and that was another non-soon year where we had like
you're right.
almost no
Yes,
moisture.
monsoon.
And then 2024 as well. So in the last 5 years, we've had 2020, 23, 24, and then now, although our temperatures haven't been as bad, our monsoon has been pretty rough.
Yeah.
It's been not a great 5-year stretch for us, that's for sure. Thursday, 117 is the forecast. So again, that could be the hottest we've seen in August at Sky Harbor. The current record is 112. It was set back in 2012.
That
so
we're
that
gonna
one,
blow past that.
we're going to
that's
blast through.
significant.
It's actually really interesting. Most of the records for this week are like 116, 115, 116. So the fact that this 112 survived is kind of sheer luck,
That is,
honestly, at
you're
this
right,
point, that
yeah.
it's so quote unquote low. But yeah, we're going to blast through that one. And then this is the look at Thursday's numbers all around the state, because there are a few spots that will be contending with records. Show low, 95 degrees, should break the record. Casa Grande won't break the record, but it's awfully close at 115. Sedona will be close at 102. So, I mean, I usually think when I'm looking at the statewide map that I know it's hot when Sedona hits 100 plus.
Yeah.
Because for Sedona, which is kind of that mid-level elevation, that's pretty hot to see triple digits.
You're right. You know, I posted your forecast yesterday on my story, and I have a friend that lives in Chicago. He's the morning anchor there, and he's like, "Is that real?" And I was like, "Unfortunately."
We're like, where have you been? Have you heard of
is
Arizona?
real. Yeah,
It's
that's what
very
I
real.
said. But you know, being in Chicago, I mean,
Yeah.
you get up into those mid to upper 90s, they're like all hands on deck breaking news. So when you see temperatures like us hitting 116, 117, I mean, I can imagine that's pretty shocking. to
I
some
saw
people.
No, it is. For
I saw a
them.
post that was it was like one of those viral kind of funny posts or whatever on social media, and it was a map of a few cities around the country that were mostly like northern oriented of days on record, like since records began for wherever the reporting station was, where it was at 100 or hotter, and it was like 50 or whatever at an East Coast town, and like 3 at like somewhere in North Dakota, and then it showed us, and it was like just a ton of numbers. I was like, yeah, that's about right.
That checks out.
Yeah.
Now, I was a weather expert for how many years? 2, 3 years before you
Are you calling yourself that?
I was. I retired.
You did a great job,
I
honestly.
retired
I really thought maybe we
expert.
were going to lose you to the
weather
weather department.
No, I got to get back to the news, my true love. But now, do you come sometimes feel the hate from viewers? Because I would get messages all the time.
Actually, they still message me and blame it on you. It's so weird. It's so weird.
That's a good one.
That is a good one, Crystal. Thank you. Yeah.
I mean, people have to understand it's not your fault. You can't shoot the messenger.
Yeah.
But this happens anywhere you live, no matter what you're forecasting
right.
for.
Yeah.
Like if it's the heat or snow
When
or
you're back in
what.
Philly with
and
snow.
snow.
Yeah.
But it is funny. It's a huge difference, right, than Chicago or Buffalo, where I'm from, where you've got the heat and the humidity.
Yeah.
Entirely different beasts. And finally, after 5 years of being here, when my parents come visit, they actually do now believe that it is better here with the heat minus the humidity.
Yes.
I said, ooh, okay.
Would you
I'm trying
rather
to
a
convert
week
them.
of epic snow that you would see back in Buffalo or a week of 112
Ooh,
to
that's a good one.
120 weather?
I'd rather take the heat.
Yeah?
Would you?
Yeah, I would. Yeah,
Okay.
because the snow, I mean, it can immobilize
Yeah, literally
you.
can stop
Like
a
you
city.
could be, you could be snowed in your house. You could be stuck.
Plus cleaning
no,
snow
you can't
off of
drive
your car
anywhere.
or trying to shovel
Yeah.
behind your car.
Oh, right.
Oh,
Snow when you're a kid is the
worst.
best thing, but snow when you're an adult, that's no fun. Warming up the car, shoveling it, cleaning it,
I
trying
grew
to
up-
drive in it. No
I
thanks.
grew up in Park City, Utah, so we got a lot of snow. And you're right. I loved it until I was old enough to be able to run the snowblower.
Yeah.
And then I was like,
Yeah.
oh, because then it'd be like, Ty, your
Ty,
turn to go plow the
that's your
driveway.
chore now.
And we had a big driveway and it was steep.
Oh,
So you have to be like
I'm surprised
going
they
down
let
a
you
little-
do that. A little Ty goes sliding down the
into
driveway.
the augers.
Oh, God.
Oh my gosh.
That took a dark turn. Luckily, that never happened, but maybe my parents
are seeing how we
they should
think here.
have thought about that. Crystal, can you hang on with us for 2 more minutes?
Sure.
Because we're going to talk next about the Dragon Bravo
Oh,
fire.
okay.
And I
Yeah.
didn't know if maybe you have some of those wins, because I know that's been a big factor up there. So that's going to be our next topic, you guys, because we continue to stay on top of this. That poor Dragon Bravo fire really is just kind of unrelenting. So as of this morning, let me do an update, because they update this quite quickly. If you ever get onto that Watch Duty website, they do a fantastic job of always updating this. So this was 2 hours ago, was the last update from Watch Duty, and that Dragon Bravo fire now at 126,000 acres, making this now the 8th largest wildfire here in our state. Containment still very low. If you remember, I think it was late last week, they actually lost a lot of containment on that fire. It's still down to about 13% containment. So that just kind of shows you just how brutal this fire is.
And if I remember correctly, last week Monday, because Ron and I during the 11:30 stream had one of the officials from up north. So last Monday it was about 70,000 or so-ish acres. So I mean, to think
It's
about
just blown
that a
up.
week ago,
Yeah. Crystal, I'm sorry to put you back on the spot here, but do you happen to have some of those wind speeds so we can kind of talk about that a little bit? Oh, you're
Give
working
me
on
like
it.
2 seconds.
No, you're
I'm
good.
working on
You're
that
good.
graphic for you. Yeah.
But this has just been so devastating to see. I mean, obviously, it has destroyed about 70 structures up there, including that historic Grand Canyon Lodge, which a lot of people were just heartbroken about.
Well, and then there was
seeing that.
concern over what could happen to the Kaibab
Yes,
Lodge.
exactly.
So, I mean, when you think about this is entirely closed the north rim of the Grand Canyon for the rest of the season.
Yeah.
You know, that's for some folks, it's devastating who are up there that rely on, you know, some of the
Exactly.
tourism. And I know we've done the stories reminding everybody that the South Rim is still open.
The West Side
but-
is still open. We had one of the
Oh, yeah.
individuals from the West Side talking to us, and they've got that famous skywalk out there. They've got all sorts of stuff over on the West Side. It's actually really beautiful if you've never been.
We've
It's a little
never
bit
been over
closer
that
to
far.
It's closer to Vegas than it is to us here in the Valley, but if you ever get up there, I did a special project a couple years ago, and man, it is cool what they have done. They've got the zip line. You're kind of like
fun.
going
Oh,
over
wow.
portions
Yeah,
of the
that's
canyon.
kinda
It was
wow.
really cool.
Oh, we'll have to venture over
skywalk.
there.
And the skywalk.
See, we've been to the South Rim a few times now. We've taken my parents when they're in town, and then we took each of the babies when they were babies. So
nice.
D3 when he was a baby, we
Yeah.
have his photos there, and then the twins. But we always just go to the South Rim.
Sounds
Yeah.
like
because
Demi's
it's,
needs
you know,
to make
Yeah.
the trip.
I know that's what I said. I said it's Demi's turn.
Demi's
so,
got to get up there.
Yeah.
All right, I've got the graphics for you
Okay.
now if you want to pop them up.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
those are the current wind gusts, guys, which yet again, just like yesterday, they're
Very
starting to
breezy,
increase.
yeah.
Yeah, up in the high country. It's going to be windy throughout the week. I think the strongest winds are today and then again maybe late week, but you could see right around 30-mile-per-hour gusts at the Grand Canyon and like 15 to 20-mile-per-hour gusts as you go along the northern edge of Coconino County. So not the best to see. And then I do have the wind forecast, but stick with me for a sec because I got to search it to pop it up for you guys. That was the one I was just working on.
But we've kind of been
and that's the problem
habitually
with
seeing
winds.
these
They're
winds.
so, well, I don't want to say unpredictable because here you are like helping map them out. But
to an extent, though, yeah, when it's specifically around the fire, because it can kind of create its own weather patterns, which actually we're going to dive into a little more tomorrow morning on our newscast to talk about how that can weigh into fighting the fire up there. But there's a look at the wind gust forecast for the next 12 hours, and you can see that where they are right now, that 25 to 30, 35 mile per hour range does continue all the way through like early evening. They'll taper some into the night, but it does look like another windy day for them there at the fire.
Yeah, brutal. And you know, we're not the only ones that are dealing with a lot of these wildfires. I wanted to first, can someone pop up? I see ENG5 on there. It's showing New York City. I didn't know if we could pop that up real quick just to show. Oh, we don't know if we can use it. Never mind. Okay, how about this? I'm going to paint a picture for you. It is the Statue of Liberty, but it looks like it's in sepia tones.
Yes.
Just because of all of the
or like one of those movies that's like post-apocalyptic a little bit,
Yes.
like it's got the haze going on.
So this is from all of the wildfires that are in Canada.
Yeah.
And that smoke has been kind of dipping down into that northeastern portion of the United States. I don't know if you've probably talked to your parents up in Buffalo. They've probably
I haven't talked to them today, but that is something.
Yeah, you should ask them.
To ask them because we're right there. I mean, Toronto
you're right on the border.
Yeah, we're right there by Toronto. Less than about a 2-hour drive.
Oh, can you?
Yeah, let's see. Let me zoom it out. It's focused on Phoenix usually, but I can drag it out.
Look
so
at that. You can see pretty much all of that northeast, all of New York there into Vermont, New Hampshire, all the way up into places, portions of Maine. All of that smoke that is just kind of billowing into the northeastern portion of the United States. And they were talking in New York about the air quality issues that they are
I'm looking
dealing
at the
with.
map. I'm like, I will have to ask my parents what's going on there. So right, where you see Toronto, like just below that.
And look, that's in like that darker color too, where Buffalo
it's
is.
a
So
little in
they're
that
probably
darker color,
experiencing that.
And actually, my hometown is like a little north of Buffalo, so it looks like it could be in that orange. So they,
definitely. It's been day after day of hazy conditions.
And
for
New
them.
York City had the 9th worst air quality in the world this morning, thanks in part to that wildfire smoke that is moving in from Canada. The only U.S. state with worse air quality on Tuesday was Detroit, Michigan, which was also just across the Canadian border there with all of that nasty air moving in. Right now, 742 fires burning in Canada, and more than 200 are labeled as out of control. So that just kind of shows you just how this wildfire, we're not the only ones that are dealing with it here in Arizona.
And this has affected things at Boston Logan Airport too. I mean, to cause a ground stop, that's a lot of disturbance. So
that just shows how bad the air quality and the visibility as well.
Mm-hmm.
All right, we're going to take a quick break. We are going to be back in 2 minutes from now. We're going to talk to a local cardiologist. We always talk about those 10,000 steps. Do you really need it? Wire in. We've got the answer for you next. We're going to keep things rolling here on Fox 10 Talks at 11. As we mentioned at the top, Anita is running a little bit late, so Des was nice enough to jump in literally last minute to fill in.
Yeah, no problem.
We were just talking about those. We do. We got each other's back around here. I wanted to talk about that. We were just talking about that wildfire smoke moving into New York City. So this is a live image looking across the Hudson. You can barely make out the Statue of Liberty. That is how brutal the air quality is right now in New York City. Isn't that kind of gross?
Wow, to see Lady Liberty like that, yeah, you can barely see her.
Yeah, probably one of those days you want to put on those masks. Maybe limit your time outdoors.
Right, limit and stay inside as best you can. But
kind of brutal.
We know New York City. I mean, that's the most walkable city in the country, so it might be difficult for them. But yeah, definitely concerning.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
All right, our next topic, really interesting here this morning. So, everybody kind of jumped on that kind of trend, I guess you could call it, of making sure you get those like 10,000 steps in.
It's the magic number, right?
10,000 is that magic number.
I wonder how many I'm at. It's probably embarrassing.
Hold on, let me look. Well, we've been sitting.
What do you do?
All
Go to your fitness app, right?
Yeah, hold on. I don't know. How do I find it?
We'll have to pull it up and figure it out.
But we want to introduce you this morning to Dr. Tabitha Moe. She is a cardiologist with Honor Healthcare. She is also the program director for Adult Congenital Heart Disease Program. And she's a mother of 4, an avid runner with more than 15 years of medical experience. I like that resume, Doc.
Wow.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Well, thanks for being here. Let's jump right into it. Oh, yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, where did the 10,000 number come from? Why do we think that you're supposed to take 10,000 steps a day? Well, it's just a marketing gimmick. There is no proven science that suggests you need to take 10,000 steps a day.
What?
You don't get any additional cardiovascular benefit for trying to hit 10,000 steps a day. And in fact, there's even some evidence that would suggest 10,000 steps maybe it has some negatives if you are not a particularly active person and you're trying to achieve 10,000 steps a day. That could potentially be problematic because it can be a little self-defeating if you're trying to get to 10,000 steps a day and you're starting off at 700. So what I would suggest is getting a way to track your steps. So there's lots of mechanisms, strategies now, wearables and otherwise, that will let you track your steps. But the easiest way is with a pedometer. The pedometers are less than $10. You can order them off of Amazon, or you can get one at your local friendly Walmart or Walgreens. It's a little clip that goes on your belt that just counts your steps. You can do fancier ways to count steps, of course, with a Fitbit or an Apple Watch, or you could carry them with your smartphone. All of those will also count steps for you. I would suggest getting a step count of what your normal weekly average is, and then trying to increase your step goals by no more than 100 step goals per week. For women, particularly perimenopausal or headed into menopause women, the goal should be somewhere around 4,500 steps a day to optimize cardiovascular benefits. So you need to know where you are first before you try to increase how many more steps you need to take week over week. So you don't have to hit 10,000 steps to get cardiovascular benefit. Doing something is always going to be better than doing nothing. And I would suggest doing something over nothing. So get up off the couch, go outside, although not if you're in New York. Because that seems like a bad plan at the moment.
Oh, no.
And not if it's 100 and awful outside. Also not a great plan. But early in the morning or late in the evening, get outside and walk and keep track. Making those small, achievable goals with small wins helps all of us feel extra motivated. Like when we're trying to lose a few pounds, this is the same sort of strategy. Trying to take just a few more steps will give you all of those additional cardiovascular benefits.
Yeah.
Doctor, you sound like my husband. Something is better than nothing. He's always telling me that. I'm like, a 20-minute workout is not as good, but it sounds like, you got to know your baseline, and then maybe you set that small goal for yourself, 500 more a day, 1,000 more a day, whatever that may be.
Yeah. The other thing, doctor, that I wanted to talk to you about, because I thought this was so interesting what you said, is that talking about the self-defeating, which I think is so important because, I just got the Apple Watch a couple years ago and I love it, but you have to set up those rings, and there are days when I don't hit all my stupid rings and I'm like, darn it.
You're a failure.
I'm a failure.
But we're not failures. That's why you said small goals. It's literally one step. Hi, doctor. This is Anita. It's literally one step at a time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, just small little achievable goals. I mean, how do you go about eating an elephant? One bite at a time. Of course, this is the same idea. So if you do your weekly step goal and you get your pedometer and you clip it to your belt and you wear it all over the place while you're doing things like the laundry and dishes and walking out to get to the mail and just living your life, that will tell you what your baseline is. And if your baseline is 700 steps a day, then you know where you're starting from. There are easy ways to get a few extra steps into your routine. I'll tell you one of my tricks. I fold the laundry and leave it in the laundry room, and then I put things away one piece at a time.
Mm-hmm.
So one item of clothing at a time. You got to put the laundry away anyway. So this is how you can build a few more steps into your regular routine. Parking out as far as possible in the parking lot. You go to the grocery store, you park out in the back lot, and you walk all the way in. A few more steps. If you work someplace that has stairs, if you can manage a flight of stairs, take the stairs up a flight or two. But it's all about figuring out your current schedule, your current routine, and just adding a bit more movement into what you're already doing. If you work in an office building, pick the farthest bathroom away from your desk. Depends on how big the building is, I suppose. But, don't go to the one that's 2 desks down. Go to the one that's 2 floors up and at the other end of the hallway so that you've got to go up a flight of stairs and walk all the way down the hall and just build in a few more steps to your regular routine.
Dr. Melinda made a comment saying that's what she does. She gets up during commercial breaks and does like a little dance or is picking up weights and moving. And so similar to what you're doing, moving, taking those extra steps when you're putting laundry away. Mm-hmm. So, you can get up during a commercial break instead of, I guess, walking to the fridge for a snack would count as steps.
Yeah. Well, here in Arizona, too, it's so hot. Yeah. So we're not necessarily going outside and getting our walks in anymore. We're taking laps around the kitchen island.
Well, what about mall walking? We have, indoor places like that. And unfortunately or fortunately, that's what we have to do here during the summertime. Throw on some ankle weights and go shopping.
Head to Costco. There's treats included.
Oh, yeah.
Costco. And now you're speaking my language.
You can really do a couple laps
But watch
there.
the samples, because then you're defeating the purpose, right?
The healthy samples only,
Healthy
does.
samples only. Oh, doctor, I did want to ask you. So, all right, the 10,000 steps thing, marketing campaign, kind of a trend. What about, and I don't know, I think I've fallen victim to this trend, walking around with the weighted weight vest. I've been reading, it's good for bone density. If you're going to be walking, you might as well throw it on. Oh, the cringe. Is that a good idea or not?
It's similar to the ankle weights, like I was saying, too. I have ankle weights that I'll put on when I'm walking on the treadmill.
Yeah, so is that beneficial?
I think if what you're trying to do is just add some additional cardiovascular benefit, then ankle weights or a weighted vest are both great. I would say we live in Phoenix. Most of us have reasonable access to a pool. So if what you're going to try to do is get a few more steps in, get in your pool. The best thing about getting in the pool, and you get up about waist height in the pool or chest height in the pool, that will take all the pressure off your ankles and your knees and your hips. And so all of those joints that tell us how old we are when the weather changes, all of the pressure and additional weight comes off those joints when you get in the pool to walk. And you can walk back and forth and back and forth in that chest height water. And right now it feels like bath water anyway, and get more steps in. But also you get all that additional resistance training that you would get with doing things like ankle weights or like a weighted vest without the additional burden or stress or strain on your lower body joints that have you get discomfort from.
Sure.
I did that when I had foot surgery, actually. I couldn't do a lot, and I wasn't able to walk because I was still in a boot. But because of the buoyancy in the water, I just walked back and forth. And I would go in there for an hour, take a break, go back in. For an hour, take a break, go back in. Just trying to move. Yeah.
I guess the scientific aspect of this, like, how does this help your cardio health? I mean, just the small little walks that we do.
So it's about conditioning. And so the more time, different than like the plumbing in your house, right? If you stress the plumbing in your house, you got to call a plumber. If you stress the plumbing in your body, it changes and modifies itself to being better able to compensate for additional exercise. So the more you exercise, the better your body is ready for more exercise. So the blood vessels get bigger, the heart rate goes down, the blood pressure overall goes down because your heart doesn't have to work as hard, the better conditioned it is. So when your heart is well conditioned, then even when you exercise, it doesn't have to work as hard, but it's also not working as hard at rest. So you get heart in better shape by getting the rest of you in better shape.
You mentioned the monitors, and a lot of people do have the smartwatches. I know you can track a lot on your phone. Is there an affordable instrument that you would use to track your steps?
I think the least expensive one, or the one that makes the most fiscal sense, is to get a pedometer. I actually bought them for my kids' class last year. You can get them for as little as $5 a piece. Now, they don't last forever when you get the teeny little ones that just clip on your waist. Sometimes it's also a digital clock, but usually it's just a step counter. Some of the smarter ones will also have a Bluetooth capacity that you could upload an app and, that kind of thing. But they're just designed to count your steps. It basically has a little springboard in it, like on your pool. And so every step that you take, the springboard counts. So if you're a really heavy stomper,
like my upstairs neighbor used to be. Yeah.
And which of those is more accurate, the pedometer or the Apple Watch? Sometimes I question my Apple Watch. I'm like,
I did more than that. I did more than that.
We only got 40 seconds, keep in mind.
Oh, okay.
Sorry, Doc. We got 30 seconds now.
I think it could go either way. So the pedometer is pretty accurate. The watch, of course, can be fooled, right? I mean, we've all seen the TikToks where people are gaming the system and how to get extra steps. So I think it depends on what game are you playing? Are you trying to get yourself in better cardiovascular shape? Or are you trying to win some sort of competition with your neighbor?
Well, Dr. Mo, thank you so much.
Thank you.
I feel like we got to get up. I checked my steps today, 21,000 or 2,100.
I was going to say 21,000.
Oh, not good.
Not bad.
Time to get up and move.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you again.
Thank you. Quick break.
Thanks.
Well, to all of our loyal viewers around the world, thanks for being part of this whole 2-hour extravaganza. We just start right at 10 and keep the conversation going. Des, how'd that last half hour go? What'd you guys talk about?
Oh, that was fun. That was very spur of the moment.
Yes?
Yeah. Anita was out working on a really special story, so I just sat in with Ty.
Yeah.
But it was interesting. We just had a doctor on here in the last segment that has kind of debunked the 10,000 steps a day.
Oh,
it was more of
yeah.
a marketing campaign. Like, you don't have to hit that number. It's not the same number necessarily for everybody to get the cardiovascular benefits of walking.
Yeah.
So, like, for example, basically she said if you walk only 1,000 steps a day, it'd be very beneficial for you to double your number.
Okay.
2,000 is better. Not
Right.
necessarily you have to be at 10,000 to reap the health benefits.
What about this story that we ran, or did you guys ask 7? Remember last week there was a story that said, forget 10, go to 7.
Oh, no, we didn't ask about 7. Yeah, but she said, whatever you're at, if you have a baseline and like if you have a desk job,
Sure.
you don't get up and walk much.
Right.
Do small things, go to the longer restroom or at home. She said she puts laundry away piece by piece. So those little tiny improvements and changes in your day can actually make a big impact.
Now, was that mandatory? Do we all have to do that?
I know, right?
We
I'm
have
like,
to
oh
fold
God, that would
laundry?
take me forever to put the laundry away.
Another
But,
pair of socks. I got to walk back to the bedroom. Okay, everybody. Thanks for hanging with us. We go right till 12 noon, and then it goes right back to Ty and Anita with Fox 10 News at noon. There are several big stories that we are following today. By the way, I think great deal of interest in these meetings that are going to be happening about the Dragon Bravo fire tonight in Fredonia, tomorrow night in
2 of
Page.
them this
Everybody
week.
feels like they need some answers.
Yeah.
As to,
And I mean, it's just devastating. 120.
Right.
Let me see. Is it 120?
about 125? Is that what we said?
126. I was going to say 124, but I wanted to double check. 126,000 acres.
Okay, so here's a little bit of background for you. We are about to talk to one of the great national reporters when it comes to covering the economy. Dave, our executive producer, just reached out to a lot of the major news organizations to see who would be up for this streaming show that we do every day, because we can get just a little bit more in depth. And ladies and gentlemen, I am happy to introduce to you Scott Horsley. He is the chief economics correspondent at NPR. Hi, Scott. How are you?
Hi, Scott.
Great to be with y'all. Thanks so much for having me on.
Yeah, no kidding. So are you in D.C., by the way, or New York, or where are you?
I'm based in Washington.
Okay, that's great. How long have you been with NPR?
Too long to count. I started with NPR just before 2001.
Okay. All right.
No
That's
shame
great.
in that. Ron Hoon has been here at Fox for 34?
Well, so I took a little interim, but Scott, I started here in 1982. So when you were just a kid in junior high dreaming of your career. Anyway, all right, let's dig right into it here, because there are plenty of economic stories to talk about. And by the way, Big D, if you want to call up and just give me a source on ENG where I could pop Edge 3 with the latest numbers for the Dow. It's already been a pretty interesting 2 or 3 days in the market. And so we wanted to have you on just to talk a little bit about the big headline today, Scott, which is this tariff talk. As much as 250% on pharmaceuticals. I mean, we all woke up to the fact during the pandemic that we were really relying on a bunch of other countries, from China to India to Ireland, for producing a lot of our pharmaceuticals. But the number that the president came out with today, I think, may have surprised a lot of people.
It did. The president likes to say a lot of things that are provocative, and sometimes they materialize, sometimes they don't. I think I'd wait to see an actual executive order with some numbers in it before I'd put a whole lot of weight on that 250% figure on pharmaceuticals. But there's no question the president has ordered a substantial increase in all kinds of tariffs. The government's collecting something like $30 billion a month now in tariff revenue. That's multiples over what we were collecting before Trump returned to the White House.
And so do you feel as though, I guess one of the phrases that he used at one point early on, I'm going back in my memory banks, I think it was regarding Walmart, because one of their higher ups said, well, we're going to have to increase prices. Remember, you posted something on Truth Social that said, you need to eat it. The phrase was, eat it. Is some of that still happening with these companies?
Some of the tariffs are being eaten by companies. That is to say, it's coming out of their profits. We certainly saw some of the big automakers talking about how big a hit, I'm talking about the domestic automakers here, talking about what a big hit to profits the auto tariffs and auto part tariffs have been for them. When I say that the federal government's collecting $30 billion a month in tariff revenue, that money's coming from somewhere. The White House would have you believe it's all coming from foreign suppliers. That's not the case. Some of it is certainly coming from foreign suppliers, but the bulk of it's being paid by U.S. importers. And over time, it's going to be passed on, much of it, to their customers. We started to see that in some of the economic data that came out last week. We saw that inflation, as measured by the Commerce Department, was picking up in July. And it's picking up in particular on the kinds of things that we get mostly from overseas: toys, clothing, appliances. And over time, we expect to see more price increases as these tariffs make their way through the supply chain.
And Scott, and help us kind of work through all of this, because, we're hearing about so many of these deals being made with the EU and all of these other countries, different percentages, different start dates. But I think folks want to know, how is this going to impact me? When will I see the prices of my products increase or decrease? And is the president giving any consideration to dropping tariffs for certain imports? For example, I've seen on, there's an NPR article you did with a brother and sister in Italy, and they sell most of their olive oil in the U.S. And I know right now, for example, they're fighting to try to get those tariffs lifted on olive oil because we import nearly 95% of that. So is there any leniency there with the president when it comes to, tariffs on what products are coming in?
Well, there could be. He has granted some carve-outs, but not a lot, fewer than we saw during Trump's first term in office. And yeah, it's curious. I mean, olive oil is a good example. We do produce some olive oil in California, but the vast majority of olive oil that we use in this country is imported. If you look at something like bananas or coffee, we produce next to zero in the United States. It's almost 100% imported. So what's the logic of taxing those things that we don't produce in this country, but we want to have? We want to have our morning coffee. We want to have bananas. And so what's the sense of taxing those things? But right now, the White House has been firm. They're sticking with those taxes, whether it's 10% on most of the countries in the Caribbean that produce our bananas, up to 50% on Brazil that supplies a lot of our coffee. So yeah, you're already seeing some of those prices make their way into what you pay at the grocery store, and you're likely to see more of it as the months go by.
So Scott, we took a look at what happened the day after Liberation Day, and I mean, I don't know if you want to put it to the level of panic in the market, but I mean, that was a big drop, close to 20%, depending on which index you look at. Why did the market react like that, do you think? And why has it basically made everything back?
Yeah, well, if I could make sense of the stock market, I'd be a rich man, but I'll try. There's no question that when the Liberation Day tariffs, as the White House called them, were first announced, we saw a really severe reaction from the stock market, and pretty quickly the White House backtracked. Those tariffs that were up as high as 145% in the case of China's goods from China, which pretty much brought commerce with China to a standstill. The White House backtracked and knocked that down to about 30%. Other countries, we saw the tariffs go back down to about 10%. And the investors kind of got in their head that, well, maybe the president's not going to be serious about these tariffs. Maybe they're not really going to materialize. So we saw then the market rebound. Last Friday, right after the White House came out with a passel of new tariff announcements, we saw another pretty sharp drop in the market, not like what we saw back in April, but another drop. Some of that's since been made up. So I think the market is still trying to assess what is the new reality, what's the new baseline. As I said, the average tariff rate that the U.S. is now paying is up in the high teens, 18, 19%. before Trump went back into the White House, it was under 3%. So importers are paying a lot more in import taxes than they were before Trump returned to the White House. That means American businesses and consumers are going to be paying, in many cases, more. And we are starting to see some drag on the economy as a result. When the tariff plans of the White House were first trotted out, a lot of forecasters said, well, that's going to lead to slower growth, that's going to lead to higher prices, and it's going to lead to fewer jobs. All of those things materialized when we got a data dump last week. We saw a new GDP figure, which showed that in the spring and early months of the summer, the economy was growing more slowly than it was this time last year. We saw prices going up more rapidly. And of course, we saw that very disappointing jobs report on Friday that the president was so unhappy with. He fired the Labor Department's top statistician.
Scott, I was actually going to ask you about that. Yeah, can you talk about that firing? What was the difference there? Because the numbers changed by a lot.
Right. On Friday, the Labor Department came out and said that job growth in July was slower than forecasters had expected. And they issued revisions for the May and June job numbers that basically erased all the job gains for those months that had previously been recorded. Now, I should say, I watch the job numbers every month, and it's not unusual to see revisions. What happens is the government gets more information. Some businesses that might be struggling and didn't get around to answering the survey the first month or even the second month finally get around to answering, and it turns out they didn't hire as many people as the government thought they did. There's nothing, absolutely nothing to suggest that the numbers were rigged, as the president said, or there was some sort of political manipulation to make the Republicans look bad, as the president claimed. None of that. But nevertheless, the president, as is his wont, lashed out and fired the commissioner of the Bureau of Labor Statistics. Economists across the political spectrum have denounced that move, saying this is the kind of thing you see in banana republics. It's the kind of thing you see in China. It's why nobody has faith in the Chinese government statistics. Businesses, investors have had a lot of faith in the U.S. government statistics. The president is toying with that faith right now, and it's unfortunate to see it happen.
That, ladies and gentlemen, is Scott Horsley joining us as the economics correspondent. By the way, a guy who got his start in San Diego. So if you used to live in San Diego and you're trying to place the voice, now you know why. Scott, thanks for spending time with us today.
Ron, Desiree, good to be with y'all.
Thank you, Scott.
Okay. Interesting stuff from him for sure. By the way, our poll question this morning looks like this. We're going to talk about it right after the break. Back in 2 minutes with FTT, Fox 10 Talks. Thanks again, Scott. And there for you is a look at the second mystery cam this morning. We just popped it up as we were going into break, so now here's a chance for you to take a look at it. Looks like some kind of a nicer town. Look at that. 1, 2, I see 3 different water towers. These people, Des, they drink a lot of water.
A lot of water. What are they doing with that water?
Yeah, no
Maybe
kidding.
watering all that green grass.
Looks like the camera is on a, that's exactly right.
Oh my, and look at how perfectly the lawn is mowed there in the bottom left-hand corner.
Yeah, for
I
sure.
am all about that. My dad is a landscaper, so
Okay.
I appreciate some good landscape.
By the way, you guys are starting to give us your guesses. Darren says somewhere in Texas. Frankie D is in Ohio.
Louis, New Mexico.
Jen's Wall thinks maybe in Illinois. I like the sound of that. Illinois.
Oh, look at Melinda going out on a limb, but I guess Tucson.
Wow. Okay.
I'm not sure.
Yeah. Well, we got all kinds of guesses all over the place. So
Frankie said, LOL, Melinda.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, yeah, really. Samantha says OKC. I could see that.
Melinda, one day it really will be Tucson.
Yeah. I'm going to go with Darren, who says somewhere in Texas. How about you, Des?
Okay, I'm thinking Ohio. I like Dayton, Patricia. That is a good guess.
Okay.
And, look at that.
What do we got?
Beaver Creek, Ohio.
Oh, you look at that. Way to go, Des.
Well, thanks, Patricia.
Practice makes perfect. I remember the days where you're like, I do not like the mystery.
I don't.
Cam.
I'm so bad at guessing, man.
But look at how good
All
you're
right,
doing
we're 1
now.
for 1.
Okay, for sure.
We got to start somewhere.
So if you, by the way, there's the updated poll question for you, and we're getting hundreds of votes, both here and on YouTube. 51% say, we got to quit relying on countries like China, India, and others. 36% say, I do not like the plan. It's going to raise drug prices. 13% saying we're way too dependent on other countries, but 250 is too high. That was the point I think that Scott Horsley was making too. Sometimes those huge numbers get out there. We'll wait to see where it actually lands. Anyway, and then you can also, of course, go to our YouTube question as well and cast a vote. So, Des, let's see. We have Vogue doing what is now called...
Are you on the cover?
Dogue. No, and
I thought this was some big announcement from Ron Hoon.
Okay.
Making the cover of Vogue here.
I wouldn't mind it after all the embarrassment of the first hour today. If you missed that, you can scrub all the way back to the beginning. But let's just talk a little bit about, let me see where I have this here. Okay. We are looking for our next, not Vogue cover star, our next Dogue cover star.
That's either a handsome boy or a beautiful girl there on the cover.
I think it's actually quite brilliant that they're doing this.
It is.
They say they're searching for the next cover Dogue. You have to submit a photo through their app. Judges will score entries based on photo composition, as well as the dog's personality conveyed through the photo. And you got to get in on this by this coming Friday. The winner going to be revealed about a week later on August the 19th.
Yep. Go to their website.
Have a dog, do you?
They've got some info on how to apply. Yeah, we have a dog.
Oh, you do?
Mm-hmm.
What's her name?
Her name is Aria.
Aria.
Mm-hmm. And you want to know why her name is Aria?
Yeah, I do actually.
Because my husband and I were so obsessed with Game of Thrones at the time. We were watching the whole series and also shopping for a new puppy. So hence her name is Aria, one of the main characters. And yeah, she's a Pomsky.
Hey, since we're talking animals, I have got to share with this picture with you guys right here. This is so cool. So this is
how sweet.
Remind me, Dave, whose picture?
This is S'mores, right?
Oh, Brandy, and S'mores. Yeah, I'm like S'mores is the cutest dog, and this is what it looks like there at Brandy's place. So you guys, if you ever have any pets that are watching, and whether you're joining on looks like she joins us on the laptop, or maybe that's her iPad, which is a great way to go. Or you can watch us, on a big screen TV on YouTube, anywhere you want. And we just love the fact that S'mores is basically
S'mores looks very comfortable.
The whole 2-hour event. Isn't that great? Brandy, thank you for sharing. That's for sure. Fox 10 Talks at fox.com. That's how you can get a hold of us. Okay, Des, one of the things that Dave, our executive producer, is really expert at is reaching out to people around the country who are making news in various aspects. And Wallet Hub, the great folks at Wallet Hub, they come out with surveys almost on a daily basis.
All the
now.
time, man. You guys must never stop working.
Yeah, and I mean, it really does kind of, for a lot of people, I think it makes you stop. This is Chip Lupo, by the way.
Hey, Chip.
And Chip, I don't know how you guys come up with all of the different topics, but you seem to nail it because whatever the numbers are, it really does get people talking. What did we learn about best places to have a baby?
Well, folks, what we try to do with all of our studies is try to make them as broad-based as possible, all-encompassing, which is why it takes a lot of analyzing a lot of data. Because in terms of something like raising or having a baby, you could very easily just rank them 1 to 50 by cost and say, well, this is the cheapest place to go, so this is obviously the best. So we try to break them up into different categories and give an overall view, because sometimes your least costly state to have a baby may not be of the best quality, and vice versa. Just because someone's spending a lot of money, you may not also get the best quality, and vice versa there also.
Mm-hmm.
So what was the other criteria that you used? Maybe was cost one of them, or what were the 4 or 5 biggest ones that you said this will be our kind of our cross section?
Right. Now, there's 4 key dimensions, and cost was definitely one of them, followed by healthcare, baby friendliness, and what we call family friendliness. Now, family friendliness was just based on a separate study that we did on the best and worst places to raise a family and how the state scored in that. That's more like a cost effectiveness kind of survey. So basically, it was talking about how affordable your state is. Now, amongst those 4 dimensions, we applied 31 relevant metrics when it comes to having a baby, and that ranges from everything from conventional delivery charges, annual average infant care costs, pediatrician per capita, health insurance premiums, a wide range of factors there also.
Wow. I mean, all of those different factors. When thinking about these studies and collecting all this data, I'm just curious, what is the team like? I mean, because that's too much data for you to go through in and of yourself. You may never be able to produce the report. How do you guys do that?
Fortunately, they don't count on me to analyze the data. I come out here to chat with you folks and other folks in media, kind of just to break down our studies into plain English for your audiences. No, I don't actually have a role in breaking down the data. We have a team that does that. We have a brilliant writer who writes up the reports, and they task me to come out and talk about them.
Okay, and childcare is a huge thing, Chip. I'm a mom of 4. I just had my 4th child 6 months ago, and I have to say, I mean, childcare has kept me up at night in tears, quite frankly. So when we look at the cost of childcare, what states ranked, I guess, lowest and highest? Can you walk us through that?
Well, it's interesting you mentioned that, because we did do a separate study on childcare per se, but part of having a baby is the long-term picture. It's not just, we don't cover here in this study just from the time the baby is born until it leaves the hospital. It takes a long-term approach, and we do factor things again, such as quality of health care, daycare centers per capita, costs of health insurance, and a wide range of factors. Now, what we found interesting overall was that among the top 5 that finished in this particular study, Massachusetts, North Dakota, Minnesota, New Hampshire, and Maine. Now, all of them did very well in at least 2 or 3 of these dimensions, but there seemed to be one particular one that was different for each state, in which there kind of needs to be some room for improvement. Massachusetts, for example, 1 in healthcare, 1 in family friendliness, 2 in baby friendliness, but 43rd in cost.
Yeah, and then we looked at... Oh, go ahead.
North Dakota at number 2, 4th in cost, 4th in healthcare, 3rd in family friendliness, but 28th in what we call baby friendliness.
And can we look at Arizona? I know Arizona is lower on the list, ranking 34. Can you walk us through those?
Yeah, Arizona is kind of a mixed bag. 34th is a below average number when you're ranking all 50 states in Washington, D.C. about averaging cost, 26. It did have the 6th lowest average health insurance premiums at around 382. So that was a feather in Arizona's cap. 19th in baby friendliness. Now, what we mean by baby friendliness is a wide range of metrics, and that covers things such as your state's parental leave policy. Is it comprehensive enough for parents to be able to take advantage of cost effectively? Mom groups per capita, that's a thing now. Support groups for moms who have just had a baby or are about to have a baby. Child care centers per capita, share of nationally accredited child care centers, and birth rate. So all of that is family friendliness. So that was where Arizona did particularly well. Healthcare 30th, a little bit below average. Low numbers in mortality ratio at 39. Cost of newborn screening is pretty high.
Yeah, and family friendliness, we overall got a 41.
Right. Yeah, and that's because for the most part, the cost of living in Arizona is pretty high. So when you're weighing having a baby and then, of course, raising the child, yeah, that becomes a factor.
All right. Well, excellent information. We hope we can call on you again, Chip. Thanks for your perspective today at Wallet Hub.
Hey, appreciate your interest in our work. You guys have a great day.
Okay.
Oh, thanks, Chip.
Hey, we only got a minute or so left, Des. We got to talk about this study. Do you use a nickname for your husband, wife, or partner? And this is fascinating to me. 50% said yes, 42% said no, and 7% said they're not sure.
Well, what do you call your spouse? Are you not sure? Hey, you.
Yeah.
What?
Right.
Do you have a nickname for Renee?
Yeah, I think, okay, in fact, I'm glad you asked, because here are the top 5.
Okay.
Babe, honey, baby, 20%, 13%, 10%.
Baby's weird to me.
Sweetheart, 6%, and love, hey, love, is 6%. We call each other, I think, babe, mostly. How about you?
Yeah, I'll call David babe.
Yeah. What's he call you?
He calls me. I'm letting the cat out of the bag.
Go for it.
He calls me Marie.
Really? Oh, middle name?
That's my middle name.
Okay.
And he is the only person in my life who's ever used my middle name like that.
Pretty cool.
And you want to know why? Part of that reason?
Sure.
He loves watching Everybody Loves Raymond.
Oh.
And Mom's Marie.
Right.
So I just took on that nickname, but now I'm like, oh, I actually really like it. He's the only one that calls me Marie.
Oh, that's cool.
So please don't call me Marie, you guys.
Right, none of us will. By the way, bottom of the list, only 2% go for darling, bae, or boo.
Bae is like in a text, maybe, right?
There you go. And 1% for angel, sugar, and pumpkin.
Sugar?
Those are the bottom ones.
Oh,
and with that,
sugar.
Des, we already have to say our goodbyes.
Oh, all right. Unfortunately. Sorry, you guys.
See you tomorrow.
Great show, guys.